and welcome to this 1000 subscribers special edition of League Bits, where we will talk about the art of the Baron steal. Nothing can bring more excitement and honor than a well-timed game-winning Baron steal, or also possibly leave you as an embarrassed corpse while saplings rejoice at your expense. Before we get started, I just want to thank you so much for the 1300 subs we have now, the support on the videos in the last week, and the plethora of comments. Virkayu has kindly agreed to be our model student for an example later on. She seems to be really excited due to a recent update, but given all that she does is scream, she could just be hungry, or apparently very angry at that rock. Nevertheless, she's gonna help us out. The point of this more fun, yet still informative lesson is to explain what you need to do to maximize your chance of a Baron steal. I have included in this tutorial 15 of my own Baron steals, 14 of which come from Season 7, and only 4 are on the blue side. With that in mind, we'll revisit some basic smite mechanics teaching you how, if your champion allows, to combo it with another ability in short succession to effectively increase your smite. Then we'll look at what you should do when considering stealing a Baron with and without vision, in search for that greater glory. So if Virkayu stopped threatening to kill us all, I think we can now learn how to smite. I'm sure that you are all well aware that smite does true damage to monsters by now. This means it does what it says on the box. 1000 damage will mean 1000 damage. On screen now, you can see what damage it does at the corresponding level of the jungling champion. However, it also says this in-game, and it's always important you know this value before smiting mostly anything in the case of steal attempts. Dragons, blue buffs, red buffs, and of course, barons. In order to be more secure with your smite, if your champion allows, combo it with another ability in short succession, or effectively at the same time. Virkayu will now show us how we can combo her fully charged E ability, and in this case, with the items I used in the practice tool, does a maximum damage of 525.96. I can just round that up to 526 if you prefer. She's level 18, which means her smite will do 1000 damage. If we smite and use her E at the same time, we have the possibility for an effective smite of 1526. And the hopes are that you of course can combo your E and your smite at exactly 1526 in order to smite the Baron. Hopefully that's more than what the enemy team can do. And in this example you can see I actually pull off the smite E bite at max fury at exactly 1526. So I highly recommend taking your favorite champion and item builds, going into the practice tool, spawning some dragons, and practicing your smite combos. Now let's discuss what you should do if you have vision of the enemy doing Baron. This is relatively much easier to attempt to steal than if you're blind up until you go into the pit, but nevertheless, as with all Baron steals, involves that element of anticipation. The reason red side is significantly stronger for stealing is because you have the safety of that wall, where it isn't possible for the enemy to zone you as well without roaming around the sides, and also to maintain vision and keep an eye on where you are exactly. So, you see the enemy thanks to previous vision or ward you've carefully put as you arrived at the pit, and because the enemy are doing Baron without a control ward or maybe haven't scanned the pit, you have vision. This means you can pace yourself and time your attack using your flash, dash, or the exploding plant to hop off the wall, and there's no need to have a super panic flash in way before you really need to, because you can see the Baron health dropping and time your attack accordingly. It's important that you pay attention to how fast the enemy is burning down the Baron. If they have mountain drakes, it'll of course go faster than if they have none. And you need to make sure you enter the pit when Baron is just above the maximum amount of health you can smite and combo with an ability. But it's also important to note that sometimes you might not be able to combo your ability due to CC or zoning by the enemy team, so you need to make sure that your champion can survive those few seconds in order to get off your smite at the very least. Going in slightly earlier like this usually freaks the enemy jungler out if he doesn't know you're coming in, and he'll probably early smite or at least use one of his abilities too soon, as you see in the example here. I have excellent pathing around their vision like I mentioned in my jungle video before. They don't expect me to flash in and smite the Baron. And as soon as I flash in, Kindred completely freaks out and smites too early, worried that I'm going to steal it. I'm much more calm, collected, I know what I'm doing, I watch only the Baron HP because I'm Maokai, can live a long time, and I smite as soon as she smites. You can see how you need to have really good prediction as well as reflexes to get some of these steals off. It's an anticipation play, but it's also very much a reaction play, and that's where the skill comes in, practicing being able to smite at such a short notice. I had to watch her smite and then smite myself. And that kind of reaction is something that comes from practice as well as something you might just naturally have. If you're on blue side, you have to be more cautious because the whole team can zone and poke you before you even get near the pit. What you have to do is time your approach just right from the front, or even better, if you can get around the other side of the wall, do so. If you're coming from the front, understand your speed, your flash, and your abilities. In this example, I'm Maokai again. I know they're doing it, but I have the vision plan available to me. I hit it so that I can see the HP of the Baron for the duration of my approach. I literally run in quickly with my Moby Boots, I flash, I W the Baron, and this completely freaks out the Kha'Zix, who misses his Q smite combination. He tried to combine his Q damage with a smite, but was simply too slow executing the combo. Where I was patient, didn't panic, knew I could survive a while, and I was only watching the Baron HP. As soon as he used his Q, I smited, just in time to secure the bounty Lord Baron had left only for me, for I was worthy, and Kha'Zix was not. I died, but that's besides the point. We'll revisit this example a little bit later just to see when you shouldn't try and steal Barons. Now what if you don't have vision of the pit? You know they're doing it, but you don't actually have any vision whatsoever, and you're a lone wolf, so to speak, approaching the pit. The vision you have will rely on your last second ward, a blasting plant, or even you just arriving in the pit at the last second like I did with Kindred at the start. I literally walked in and smited the Baron. I only saw the HP when it was exactly the right amount for me to smite. My reaction had to be extremely quick, but I also had to anticipate that that might be the situation. Here you have to really react quickly and not think too much about the smite in that moment. You need to focus on the Baron's HP and the amount of damage you can do to it. Relax on your way to the pit if you know you'll get there in time. Look at your smite amount, look if you can combat with an ability, and what is the max amount you can use on the Baron. Once you get there, if you can get last second vision without losing a stride, do so. If you're on the red side, prepare your flash, dash, or plant usage. Hold your breath, pray to Zeus, use that last second vision to see the Baron HP, jump in and take what's yours. Well, what's not yours, but you end up having anyway, so technically it is. And if it dies right as you arrive, just leave. Don't jump in and suicide for no particular reason. You can see it's dead. If you can hit the smite in a fraction of a second, then surely in a fraction of a second you can see that the Baron's dead. Sometimes you'll get there in time to ward, and if your vision is destroyed, you will at least have seen how much HP is left on the Baron, and how fast they are killing it. You can use this extrapolation in order to time your approach and when to jump into the pit. So you need to know how you plan to get in and get out. And if it is a one-way ticket, don't waste your ult like I did in the Kindred example. Waste high cooldowns if you know you're gonna die. And I think that about wraps everything up. That is your guide to how to steal a Baron, or otherwise known as how to get maximum honor at the end of the game by your team and result in the enemy team completely blaming their jungler for missing his smite. If you liked this lesson, make sure to smite that like button, subscribe for more league bits, montages, and other gaming content, and don't forget to share with your friends or anyone who smites like Saint Vicious. And as always, I will see you guys in the next tutorial.